Hello, and welcome to the Argyle HR Leadership Forum, Workforce Wellbeing, Retention, and Engagement. My name is Melissa with Argyle, and it is great to have everyone joining us today. A couple of notes before I turn things over to our panel moderator. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsor's virtual booth at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partners are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booth from the main agenda page, which includes complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. Throughout today's event, you will also have the opportunity to win one of several prizes. So be sure to check out the prize and raffle rules tab of the interface to see how you can earn points. To ask questions throughout the session, simply type into the Q&A chat, and we will address your questions at the end of the session today. Now, without further delay, I would like to introduce our moderator, David Crawford, Vice President, Talent Acquisition at New York Presbyterian Hospital. We're excited to have David and our panelists for a panel discussion titled Redefining Recruitment and Retention, How Well-Being and Flexibility Drive Talent Success. Welcome, David. Over to you.
Great. Thanks, Melissa. And thank you, everybody, for participating. I'm really excited to be joined by both Jessica and Monica to talk about something we're very passionate about. And even though I'll be acting as moderator, I'll also contribute some information as well, because all three of us are in different locations, we're in different industries, different size companies, and we'll set that up at the beginning. But we're all very passionate about what's going on as far as flexibility and well-being, not only for candidates, but also for employees. As Melissa was talking about me being at New York Presbyterian, just to give people an idea, New York Presbyterian is one of the most comprehensive integrated academic healthcare systems located in New York, all of our 11 hospitals and our medical groups, and we're affiliated with 2 academic medical centers. Our physicians are with Columbia Doctors and with Weill Cornell Medicine. We have about 45,000 employees, and last year we hired just under 10,000 folks. So that's a little bit about New York Presbyterian. My responsibility is to look at our strategy, our technology, our operations to recruit people, both externally and internally. And for some of the more senior searches, then I act as a recruiter. So with that, Monica, why don't we turn that over to you so you can tell us a little bit about yourself and about where you work.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Panetta. I'm the Chief People Officer at Pareto Health. Pareto Health is a company that is helping small and mid-sized companies essentially get awesome options for healthcare. And also help them manage the risk better in a self-funded environment. We're located in Philadelphia, and I'm also located right outside of Philadelphia. So I'm excited to be here today.
Terrific. And Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica Manussi. I'm the head of talent acquisition for TruGreen. TruGreen is the largest lawn care provider in the US, and we also have some locations in Canada, and we have about 12,000 employees when we're fully staffed. We're a very seasonal business, so kind of fluctuates throughout the year. And I'm very excited to be here today, excited for the discussion.
Terrific. Well, there are a number of topics that we'll talk about as it relates to flexibility and benefits. And if the audience happen to have specific questions about that topic that we're on right now, and you just want to probe a little bit further, we'll open the doors. We're having a basic table conversation here and are open for those who are eavesdropping and want to participate. If there are other general questions that you have, we'll save time at the end where Melissa will take a look to see who has these questions, and then we'll take it from there. All right? So let's get started. I guess my first piece is to talk about what specific benefits and well-being offerings have you found to be the most appealing to top candidates, to your employees in the job market today. So with that, Monica, why don't I turn it over to you as the Chief People Officer? What do you see for your employees?
Sure. Well, being a benefits company, we tend to really want to invest in our employees' well-being, which is a big piece of what our current employees value. So our company actually doesn't charge any premiums for health or medical, dental, or vision insurance, which is seen as a big perk. We also contribute toward our HSA and make a very, rich plan for our employees to take care of themselves. We really want them to go to their doctor's appointments, not be afraid to go seek care when they need it, and make sure that they're doing the same for their family. So that's a big one for us.
No premiums. That's huge. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that people are surprised about that. And, is that marketed as you're talking to potential candidates out there?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Although we are finding there's more companies doing that now. We were sort of, I used to hear when I first started at Pareto 2 years ago, oh, wow, I haven't heard that. But over the past couple months, we're actually hearing it more from like the healthcare companies, health tech. So it's just really interesting to see people kind of, reacting to that and wanting to create that environment. So.
And we'll get into this a little bit later when we're looking at ROI and what the results are. But have you seen that because of that, people are taking care of themselves in a healthy way because they don't have premiums, because there isn't that limited barrier?
I do. I feel like they're more educated about the options they have, and they're more open about talking about it too. So that's a huge piece. People aren't afraid to seek answers or talk to each other about like, hey, I had this experience. What was your experience with that? Whereas that sort of used to be a no-go conversation. Yeah. So
that's terrific. That's a good one to know about. Jessica, how about you, especially from the candidate side, since you're Senior Director of Talent Acquisition?
Yeah, I think benefits depend kind of on who you're trying to attract. Yeah. So, I try to make sure that my talent acquisition team knows that, the benefits very well, just so that they can kind of figure out what's important to the candidate, right? So I think, if you're trying to attract somebody that is interested in, having free food or, a flexible workspace, or, there's certain things I think that are attractive to certain people, right? So for us, we recruit a lot of people within the hourly space. Mm-hmm. And so having something that's affordable for people is very important. At the end of the day, I think they're, just interested in making sure that they can have a lot of like minimum basic, healthcare, and that it's not really going to cost them a ton of money. I think that's probably what's most important to most of our hourly team.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so with that, I was just wondering if these programs or this idea is resonating with your employees. Have you had feedback from either one of you about what the benefits are?
Yeah, we generally do voice of the associate, every year, where it's an employee engagement survey. And that's definitely one of the questions we always ask is about, healthcare and about the benefits that we offer. So we do get a lot of feedback from that.
Yeah, same here. We do feedback, conversations and an engagement survey too. And I would say another big thing outside of benefits proper that we focus on is community outreach. So we do time off every month, 4 hours per employee per month to go volunteer somewhere. We also do a donation match of up to $1,000 per year for qualified 501(c)(3) programs. So we found that is really big for our employees, but also for attracting talent too. That's become a really big piece of attraction mechanism that we've been using.
I'm guessing also with the community outreach that speaks to your organization's culture and your values. With that, how can organizations design flexible work policies that not only cater to the needs of the employees, but also stay true to who the organization is and what they stand for? And maybe that's just one example if you want to talk about the types of organizations where people volunteer.
Sure. Our values, one of our 4 values, David, is for the greater good. So not just for the greater good of, everyone at the company, but also for the greater good of the whole, community and beyond. So what we do in our community specifically in Philly, we partner with a lot of local organizations that help with some kind of medical need for, resonating with our mission and our company goals. So we do a lot of that. We volunteer time in different areas of distribution with, whether it be soup kitchens or different food distribution places. We get a group of people together and do that. We're also really big on outreaching to the schools in the Philadelphia area and giving back in a way of like helping college age students find jobs, help them get connected with companies. So those are just a few things that we do.
Mm-hmm. And Jessica?
Working in a very large matrix type environment, it's, I think, a little more difficult to kind of define what that culture is that you're, and have those things aligned to the culture. So I think it's important to do the work to try to define what that is, figure out like what's important to the employees, through listening to them, through surveys, through roundtables, town halls, any way that you can really get kind of a pulse on what is important. And I was actually taking some notes while Monica was talking about some of the things that they do. So, I mean, I don't think it can always be like a one size fits all. In a larger organization, you really have to try to figure out, what are the things that most resonate with people. So
yeah, one thing that we've done at New York Presbyterian, because we're hospitals, is that you have to be open, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We have day, evening, night shifts, and there are, it depends on when there are surges about, with our patients getting sick and what we need to do. So with that, it's not so seasonal, but the thing is, you have to make sure that you're fully staffed. We do have some corporate positions that have flexible work, meaning they don't always have to be on site. It might be remote, it might be hybrid, but it's pretty much steady state throughout the year. Both of you have busy seasons. So I was wondering if you could comment about how you address that, specifically Monica, as it pertains to open enrollment, and then for the seasonality for True Green, depending on where you are in the geography. Since I'm, upper Northeast, there's snow outside right now, so I don't need my lawn taken care of. But how do you manage your workforce and deal with benefits to address what you have?
Yeah. I would say, David, to that, sorry, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback, but so our busy season is from September or Labor Day to Thanksgiving, essentially. And we see a lot more in-person presence during that time. We run a flexible hybrid work strategy basically most of the year, but then during that busy season, we really encourage people to come into the office at least 3 days a week so we can, see each other, collaborate more effectively. We provide, dinner, we have happy hours to try to keep everyone engaged and get them collaborating together. So there's just a couple of things that we do, but I would say, in general terms, like having that communication, the clear communication and consistent communication across is something that has really helped us. We do a predictable monthly email to our employees to tell them what's going on, upcoming events, things like that. So making sure that's part of the strategy is really important.
And Jessica, how about you?
So as you said, we have a very seasonal workforce. And one of the things that we do is we have what we call a seasonal active leave. So we do, unfortunately, have to, have people not work for a few months out of the year. And we actually allow them to keep their benefits throughout that time. And then it's part of our retention strategy too, to try to get people back year after year, where we will, make sure that we're communicating and, talking with them throughout that time period to make sure that, they understand that, we'd love to have them back. Another thing that we started doing, it's not really, well, I guess it could be benefit related, but before people actually go on seasonal active leave, we've started actually telling them what their merit increase is going to be for the following year. So they have that information prior to going out. They know like what to expect when they come back. So it really kind of gives them a hey, I'm going to come back and make a little more money too. So that's another strategy that we use.
That's really smart. I mean, as you know, by being in talent acquisition, it's all about managing expectations. And I would assume that your retention of your employees would be very good. If I know that I'm on seasonal active leave, I still have access to my benefits, I can go off and do a very different type of job, but I'm not necessarily going to be enticed to do that new thing when I know that I want to return to a company that's where I feel that I'm supported. Is that about right?
Yeah. And I think, sometimes during those time periods also, there are some things people can do, like snow removal or, working in like salt. So there's things like that too. They could work at Amazon over the, Christmas time, or UPS, or one of those, locations, or retail, something like that. So I think there are enough other seasonal roles that people can do during that shorter period of time. And then, we keep in touch with them, and they know they want to come back. They know what they're going to be making when they come back. And I think that's, it's worked well for us. I think, we have some people that have returned for 30 seasons, I mean, it just depends.
Terrific. Well, actually, there are people who are listening to us, and they have some questions about what we've been talking about. There's a question that came through that says, what are some successful approaches to implementing flexible work arrangements without compromising productivity? One thing that we've done at the hospital, and been this way for many years within healthcare, especially for nurses, the number of days per week and hours per shift. A lot of nurses prefer 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So not necessarily working, from 9 to 5 days a week or something like that. The 3 days seems to be very effective for us. So that's just one example. The other thing that we've done, especially when we were dealing with COVID for the corporate jobs, people were heavily working remote. And then we shifted over to 3 days a week being on site. And then for management, it was 4. And now for the most part, it's 4 days a week. But that also means, especially for a corporate job, if you are going to a particular hospital or location, or you're doing something in the community associated with New York Presbyterian in your job, that counts as a day not being at home, if you look at it that way. So with that particular lens of a flexibility, how has that impacted your work? Are you flexible? Have the work flexibility programs changed over time? Monica, do you want to pick that one up?
Sure. Yeah. So, well, we are currently still flexible. We run a hybrid office work schedule. We're right downtown in Philadelphia. So the people who live downtown, it's super easy to get to our office. They can walk, they can scooter. People that live in the suburbs of Philadelphia, though, depending on where you live, it's a little, trickier to get into. Train, driving can be a challenge sometimes. So we've been pretty flexible with, days in the office. We've been getting, though, and moving more toward highly encouraging 2 days a week in the office for collaborative purposes. And we try to do that organically, and making our meetings known on the calendar, like this meeting will be in person, so plan to be in the office. We haven't done a mandate, but we sort of, for the greater good, like if it says in person, we want you to come in. Yep. So.
And Jessica, how about you?
We don't have a ton of flexibility with a lot of our branch roles, right? So, I mean, a lot of our drivers are on a route. They have to be, they have to be in the branch, and our branch management has to be in the branch. With corporate, we have had a little bit of flexibility. My team is actually fully remote, but I think we're the only team in all of corporate that actually has that advantage. Mm-hmm. For the most part, they want people in a few days a week, and we're pretty flexible about how that goes. So,
I was going to say, even on my team for talent acquisition, the recruiters meet with their hiring managers. They meet the departments, because one thing that we noticed before the pandemic is that people had a sense of what the recruiting activity was. They could see candidates come to the office. They could meet with their recruiter, get updates. When everything turned virtual using Zoom or with Teams or WebEx, it became invisible. People didn't see the number of candidates. Candidates were getting interviewed the way that we're talking right now using, virtual technology. So it kind of disappeared. So with that, we've been pushing for our recruiters to go on site to interview with folks. And we've actually brought candidates in for final rounds to be in person, because you can't get a sense of an organization just by doing a virtual. You don't know what the dynamics are like. And also it gets to that point of managing expectations. You know what you're walking into. So that's definitely what we've seen from the recruiting standpoint. And I don't know, they're social people. So it just makes sense. You want to work with other folks and you can learn better that way.
They are, but when you're recruiting across the company, like for, across the country and
Yes.
in Canada, and like you may not live in the area where you're recruiting in my case. So it has worked really well, for our team and the volume that we recruit at as well. We don't actually have anybody come on site. It is, our recruiters are actually making hiring decisions.
Yeah.
So it is. Yeah. So they're doing everything via Teams. And it has worked really, really well.
Well, that's the beauty of having people talk from different industries, different types of organizations to find out what's working for them, because there isn't just one way to do all of it. Another question came through that said, what employee engagement surveys do you use? And I don't know if you want to mention yours. I know that from my own standpoint, and I've been at Recruitment for my 10th year now, I'm familiar with Qualtrics and Perceptyx and Gallup, and we also participate in the Great Place to Work survey, which goes out annually and it feeds into the Fortune Best Place Awards. But those have been very helpful to get a good handle on engagement, finding out the difference between part-time workers and full-time workers, or per diem, or locations, or generations, what people are thinking. How about you folks? How are you getting an idea of what engagement is like and what people are thinking?
You want to go, Monica?
Sure. So we use Gallup for our engagement survey. We also have a monthly people leader meeting every month with our managers, where we're getting some firsthand feedback as well to supplement. And we're actually working right now on a employee life cycle communication strategy. So it'll be, for example, you get a survey at 90 days, you get another one at a year, another one at 2 years, and then we do stay interviews with the group outside of that to try to just keep that ongoing feedback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jessica, how about you?
We have traditionally used Spring International for our yearly survey. We did just sign with Qualtrics, so we're probably going to be doing some different things with them. But we also do a lot of surveys, new hire, after a certain amount of time to get some feedback. And, we do town halls and, have a lot of monthly meetings as well with our teams.
Yeah, communication is definitely key. And with that, I'm going to shift to an area about communication, because with that, you can have the best programs that are there, but if people don't know what they are, they're not aware, what do you do about that? So with this, Jessica, why don't we start with you? And I'm approaching it this way because I have some people, facilities, housekeeping, transporters, they don't sit at a desk and wait for their next email to come through. And you have a lot of people out in the field. How do you at True Green communicate to your folks so that they're aware of what's going on?
Yeah, I think it really starts with the recruiting process. So I want to make sure that my talent acquisition team is really armed with that information to start with. So we do partner with our friends in Total Rewards. They make sure that we, every year have a new flyer that outlines what the benefits are, something we can use for recruiting purposes. And I want to make sure that my team is able to articulate that and that they have that information. We also have an internal, website that we use. We have internal communications. We have our managers talk about things during their stand-up meetings. We use flyers. Every branch has, like a communication center that, people can put stuff up on the board. And then we do send, obviously emails out as well that, for people that are sitting at their desk. But we really do try to make sure all the bases are covered.
Terrific. We also have a service center that's open. So in case people have questions and they're not sure where the answer is, they go to the service center and talk to our advisors to provide information. Monica, how about you?
Yeah, so we do similar. Being a smaller company, we have a SharePoint site that we recently just redid that has all of the information on it. We also get people at day one, and we go over all of the benefits in detail with them. We have a nice little benefit booklet that is branded with our values and, basically all the things in one place. Like it includes our flexible PTO, our community and, engagement initiatives. And we give that to the candidate after they sign their letter. So they get it right from the beginning so they can talk to their family about all of the offerings that we have. And then in addition to that, we also have town halls every 6 weeks where we are giving updates on any changes, or if we see that, hey, we're not getting, we could use more utilization in this area, we'll kind of throw a little hint at like, don't forget you have, Health Joy or this product, make sure you're using it. So we try to kind of weave that in there too.
Got it. Okay, terrific. A question came through asking this, and also do provide the opportunity for people to identify who they are. At New York Presbyterian, ours are anonymous. So I don't know whether it is anonymous. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is what we find it to be helpful. Now, if there's a comments section, and if they want to indicate, who they are, but we really stress that it is anonymous. As a matter of fact, as you know, with your products, they're not yours. They belong to your third-party vendors. So all the information goes there. They provide the reports, and you don't really know who says what. And we think that that's the way to go.
Yeah, ours are anonymous, but they also roll up to their individual leader as well. So I can tell, like, how engaged my team is versus like the company or a different segment.
Yep. We have the same thing with our reports that come back. As a matter of fact, let me shift over to reports and KPIs. So Monica, you're in the C-suite. Those folks are looking on return on investment, KPIs. Are there things that you're looking at to decide what the impact is of the well-being programs that you have and employee satisfaction and how it relates to business performance?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the engagement score is a huge one. We look at that, and make sure that we're really communicating action planning around that. We also look at turnover. We're looking at, top performer retention, top performer satisfaction as well, so that we can make sure that we're enabling the best environment to continue to have our employees be productive and grow. We also look at utilization rates, like I said, of some of our programs, just to make sure that we're not offering something that has become, irrelevant in our community or people don't need anymore. So we're just constantly looking and making sure that we're, offering the best benefits. We've also look at our time off too. So while we have a flexible PTO and we don't track balances, we do track utilization. And we make sure that we're looking for trends and things like that to ensure we're on top of if there's anything that's causing like excessive absenteeism or anything like that too.
Yeah, we do utilization as well, because especially as we were focusing on resilience and well-being programs, there were a number of things that we were offering because we thought they were good ideas. What we found is that they missed the mark. People didn't want that. They wanted something else. So with that, we had to kind of shift and get the voice of the employee to say, this is really what's important to me and what I'm really looking for. And in some cases, it has to do with flexibility for childcare or adult care. And that's where they needed the resources. Jessica, or Monica, I'm sorry, go ahead, continue.
No, I was going to say, I'd be interested in Jess's comment here, but I also when I look at the vacation, we have a busy season, right? So a lot of people go heads down busy season, and then we see an influx of time off right after busy season ends. So I always like to look at the trends and say, I'm glad they're doing that because that means that they're not working themselves to burnout. And if I all of a sudden see that's not happening, I can say, hey, don't forget to schedule some time off or like help manage some of that. So I'm sure Jess probably has, I don't know if you have visibility like that since you're a much bigger company, but I'm sure you have the same thought process.
I mean, I do to my team, and we have the same kind of, busy, very busy time of year. And we're always trying to encourage people to take the time off during the slower times. But it's kind of hard because we start recruiting right after Thanksgiving. So like that whole month of December when people want to take time off, it's, it's hard because that's one of our busiest times of the year so that we can meet our January goals. So it's how do you balance that, right? Like with, obviously it's people's time off and we want them to be able to take it, but also we need them. So it's like, how do you, encourage them to go at other times of the year? So it's definitely a balance there for sure.
Perfect. Well, we touched on a lot of, very innovative approaches to flexibility, wellness, and employee well-being. How has that helped to strengthen your overall reputation as an employer of choice? Has it been tangible as far as showing up on, different awards that seem to be out there? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, David, I can definitely talk to that. I mean, our company every year, similar to what you were saying, how you go into the best places to work award category. So we've won the employee. This will be our third year in a row. So it's definitely, putting our time in the right places. We've scored really, really high on that over the last couple of years. It's also been a big piece on our employee appreciation. We've won that award as well. So it kind of lends to each other to say, like, people are looking at this as a full package versus just one section of like health. That's it. They're looking at it as like, my company cares about me, which is, I think, more important than any award. But yes, it's definitely showing up. And people are, they're excited about it. Like they're about healthcare at my company. So it's a little bit of a different discussion because they know all of these different options and they've worked at companies that maybe haven't had all of the different options that we appreciation for that too.
We might have a bandwidth issue there. Jessica, let me pivot over. Did I freeze Jessica?
No, you're there.
Okay, all right. Let me switch over to you. How would you like to respond to that piece about enhancing the brand, as an employer of choice?
I think we've more so seen this on our like internal rather than external. We haven't really received any big awards or anything for this particular thing, but we have seen a decrease in turnover over the past couple of years since we've more started prioritizing the well-being of our associates and also just that increase in the employee engagement scores. So we're really going to continue that work. That is our goal, to really become that employer of choice.
Yeah, you definitely see it when you're looking at decreased turnover, lower vacancy rates. That really makes a difference. At Air Presbyterian, we just recently, are showing up on a number of the Forbes lists for large employers, best employers for women. There's a new one that just came out called Dream Employers, like your dream job. So I don't know. It's anyway, it's interesting. The nice thing about that too is it's anonymous. I don't know who they reach out to, how they get that information, but it's nice to know that our employees think well of our organization. There's something else that came through, and I did want to shift to this, and this is something that I've definitely seen within healthcare in the hospitals, and it's really important. It's about workplace violence. We have a training, and we highlight zero harm, and we also have a respect office. So this isn't just about that we see within ourselves, but also with patients who may be violent. It's something that we're looking at. Do you have any type of efforts or programs that focus on keeping your workforce safe?
We do. I mean, we do the active shooter training throughout the company, and really, try to promote that culture, obviously, of also zero tolerance for violence. Yeah.
Yeah, David, same here. We're a high. There's certain things that the building, obviously requires us to do from like a physical safety standpoint, but zero tolerance. And we also have every employee do training when they start on safety, and make sure that they're educated.
Another question came through about, I guess, interesting perks, pet insurance. Do you have anything like that, or any other types of things that have come up, in the news for GLP-1s or any other type of new types of benefits?
I think they wanted to hear from you on that one, Monica.
Yeah, no, we, for our employees, we're listening. We offer a lot of things. Obviously paying for the premiums in the health, dental, and vision allows us to get more creative with some of the other buy-up pieces. So right now I have pet insurance employees, but they do get a discount through our HRIS if they wanted to buy that on their own. They partner with one of the pet insurance companies, so they get discounts through that. Hopefully you guys can still hear me.
Yeah. I can hear you. Yeah. I think really the only unique thing that we do is the employee perks program, where people can get discounts on like travel and theme park tickets and different things like that. That's just one little different one that True Green does, but
love that.
Yeah.
That sounds like such an exciting perk, Jessica. While we wait for David to pop back in, do we want to focus on some of our questions that we've received from the audience today? I know we've answered quite a few already. We just talked about the unique perks, which is always exciting for employees to hear about. But some other questions that we've gotten, one specifically in regards to what's next in recruitment and retention.
I know one thing, it not necessarily related to that, but we are trying to incorporate more AI into our recruiting. How can we leverage that, especially with sourcing, contacting, and making sure that we can leverage the AI to make us more efficient. So we've been experimenting with some tools, interview tools, tools that kind of summarize the interview with the candidate so that we're not typing every single note. So we're trying, we're trying to kind of get that, get that going within our team and add to the efficiency there. So
we actually just started using Paradox back in August, and like they have a chat bot. It's very AI. I mean, people ask questions, and Trudy, that's our chat bot, she will answer, and it really feels like very authentic, like it's a person that's responding, which is awesome. And people can schedule interviews through her. She qualifies candidates, and that has been a real like time saver for my team from an AI perspective, which has been awesome. So I think that's great. I think AI is really, really helping with efficiency.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anybody else out there?
Great, David. Yeah, we did receive a couple of questions from the audience. We can take a look at the next one. This one sounds interesting. What are some innovative approaches companies have taken to enhance their employer brand through the well-being initiatives they offer?
I'll actually, one thing that we're looking at is just to highlight the people who have benefited from it, who enjoy it, who are getting value out of it, because that's better than having a brochure or sending out a postcard or sending out an email. It's who are people, as far as living, breathing examples of how they're using our benefits and how it's made a difference to their lives and to their families.
Yeah, I love that. Like the employee
Yes,
testimonials
that's it
or
exactly.
having videos. Yeah, that's a really great way to showcase that.
And we're looking to do that for career mobility as well, to highlight people who have started that journey of reinventing themselves as far as what they want that next step in their career to be, if it's something completely different from what they're doing right now.
I think that's great. And I highly encourage people to get on LinkedIn and post about, things that they're doing, benefit related or, employee engagement related, things that are happening within like specific branches. I think that all goes back to building the brand, building the culture, having people look and see like, this is a place I'd like to work because
Yep.
so the more stories you can tell like that, I think the easier it becomes to try to recruit people.
And it makes it just easier for people to understand, right? It's about someone speaking
Absolutely.
genuinely from their heart about what's going on and what's made a difference.
Absolutely.
And as we're getting ready to close at this point, if people have follow-up questions, I know both of you have LinkedIn profiles, as I do myself. Would it be okay if people reached out or connected or started following you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I'm really pleased to see that there have been so many people who have questions and have contributed to the conversation to make it more enriching. So I value that. I just want to thank everyone who's been able to participate.
Yeah, that's great.
Melissa, I think we're just about at time. Is that right? Or is there any other question that came through?
Yeah, we are just about at time. Thank you. Thank you, all three of you, for your insightful discussion. This was a great panel today. I really enjoyed hearing all about your experiences. I also want to thank everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be available on demand following the event. As a reminder, please be sure to check out the prizes and raffle rules section to see how you can earn points for the chance to win one of several prizes. Our next session will begin at 12:25 p.m. Eastern Time, which will be a keynote session titled Engage, Retain, Thrive, Supporting Multi-Generational Teams in the Workplace. Please click on the join button that will appear momentarily on your screen to be redirected to the next session, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, all three of you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks very much. This was a lot of fun. All right, take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.